Hey,
Hi,
can
how's
you
it
hear
going?
me?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Thanks for being flexible with me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Just give me a second to put my earpiece in.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey.
Hi. All right.
Okay.
Okay, let me get this pulled up. So give me the backstory a little bit. Like, how did you find us?
Googling. I was doing some Googling and I ran across something that led me to something else, and here I am.
Okay. And I was reading over what you wrote. Like, I mean, have you been kind of researching like different opportunities from home or like, I know obviously family and stuff. I totally get that. I have 3 kids myself, so.
Yeah, so I was trying to find something to do, more time at home. I'm self-employed, so I got my own little business, but in
Okay.
my downtime when things are slow, definitely trying. I spend a lot of time behind the computer, so it's like, hey, what can I do to bring in some additional income that can kind of make me leave my self-employed job alone,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of do this.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'll give you my background a little bit. I've been doing this since 2015. So for a
Hmm.
while. I've known Dan, the guy who started all of this since college. So
Okay.
that's kind of my how I even knew about it back then. I knew him when he sold cars. So I used to be a teacher. I taught 5th grade. I had my daughter at the time, she was 2. And then I found out I was having twins. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to, 3 kids under 3, I gotta stay home. Like it just, I can't go back to work, at this point.
Right.
So I knew what Dan was doing from like, the sidelines, I guess. Like I knew it was something online, but I didn't really pay attention. And then I had to pay attention. So I called him and I'm like, what's this internet thing? And, he explained it to me just at a very basic level. Like every business needs leads. Great. It's not going away. Like I understand all that, very basic knowledge. And yeah, it just made sense. So I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. And here we are 10 years later. So,
Oh,
built up my business. It works, you learn all the ins and outs. Like, I think the biggest thing is just, figuring out if it's, something you see yourself doing, at the end of the day. Like, it's not rocket science. There's work involved, but, it's something you can build and not have to kill yourself with time. I mean, that was my biggest thing is like, I needed flexibility. I mean, I still do.
hmm.
Um,
Right.
and, this is something I've been able to do, fit in the pieces of the puzzle of life, right? Like, okay, I've, 2 hours here, I can do this. I can create my own day. I'm not tied to any of that by any.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I'm an open book. Like, I'm sure you watch some of the videos. Like, I can show you the course, whatever questions you have. Like, I don't really have, agendas for these calls. Like, just kind of whatever you need from me.
So at what point did you take it full time and kind of like stop teaching to where it was like, this works? Was it like year
Yeah.
one, year two?
So that's, it's a good question. I stopped teaching, when basically I was on bed rest, like pretty like halfway through my pregnancy.
Hmm.
I was again forced to stop teaching, at that point. And I started the business probably like right when the twins, they were maybe a couple months old. I mean, they weren't, like they were infants, at that point. So I
Right.
was already out of teaching, at that point. I'll say though, like at the time, being honest, I did not go into this thinking I would still be doing this 10 years later. My objective was to do something while I was at home, like to get them through the baby stages and till I could go back to work. Um,
Hmm.
I did not know like the potential, I guess, of it until I really got into it. I'm like, whoa, okay, like I can actually really do this and make money at it and like a lot of money, and um I built up my business to around like 2 grand a month, consistently, right? Like compounded by like 6 months in.
Right.
I stayed around that mark till I don't know, maybe a year and a half into that point. I just wasn't at a phase where, I mean, my husband at the time had a great job, like it wasn't like I had to work, I guess, but I wanted to do something for myself, and I've worked my whole life, so it was kind
Hmm.
of an emotional outlet for me too, honestly. Um, Around, I'd say like, yeah, a year and a half or 2 years into it, in between that point, he ended up getting laid off though. So that was the pivotal moment of figuring out, like, are we going to do this, or are we going to, are you going to go back to like your soul sucking job, and, um,
Right.
we decided to go for it, at that point. And I guess with my situation, I had already done it. So like I kind of knew, once you get in, you rinse and repeat the process, right? Like you don't have to keep just do more of it. So scaling was
Hmm.
pretty simple. Um, so yeah, I mean, that was kind of my path with it. My goals changed obviously, like as I grew in the business, but I've seen people come in and make 20 grand the first month. Like that just wasn't me, it just really depends on, as cliche as it is, like what amount of work are you putting into it? What are your goals, right? Because there's some people that don't want to quit their job. They just want to make extra money. It's not, um, some massive agency that or anything they're looking for, at the end of the day.
Right. Right. So
So
if I have 3 hours a day, 3 to 5 hours a day, I have the capital. Is there really any real reason why I wouldn't succeed?
no, I mean, yourself, like, I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth,
Yeah.
seen it all, like the business model, like I think is pretty straightforward, like I said, to me, that's why it made sense. Like every business needs leads. Like that is never going to go away. Period. End of story. Like maybe, as technology changes, like there might be some things that we change a little bit, right? And implement that. But like at the core value of what this is, okay, that's fine. So that's there. You just have to be willing to implement. And I think that's where I've seen, you know, the 10 years I've been doing this, and also, helping out with Dan and the course and stuff, like people just get in their own heads, like
Right.
truly, that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's a real business. It's not all peachy keen jelly bean, like you're gonna,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard no, I've lost deals. Like, I mean, that's the reality of any business, but, the perks of this totally outweigh, in my opinion, anything that I've gone through, right? Like, so, I'm not going to sit here and say like it's a cookie cutter path, because that's also not realistic. I think that's why this business model works so well, is because, you get to really choose how you want to implement these skills that you're learning, right? Like
Right.
everyone kind of does something a little different, which I think is
Mhm.
great. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's really no, 3 to 5 hours a day is a lot
Oh,
too, to be
okay.
honest. I didn't even put that much time into it, like I didn't have that much time. I mean, I barely showered some days, like in the beginning. And
I've been there.
yeah,
I'm still
like
there to this day.
how do you obviously have family kids? Like what are the ages and
I have two in school all day, 15 and 12, and then a little 2-year-old. So,
okay. Yeah,
when I'm working, he he bothers me at times, but I let him sit there until he starts pressing buttons on the keyboard, then send
sure.
him on his way. He comes back later. But yeah, I have the time. I can definitely do it. So
Hmm.
that shouldn't be an issue. So you said Dan. So there's two people that own the company, Dan and what's the other guy's name?
It's
Ipe?
ePay, yeah. So Dan created it, right? Like, I
Okay.
mean, he did his business. I mean, we all went to Oregon together. I mean, that's where our kids have grown up together, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And I don't know what videos like Ipe has on there, but he was a finance manager. Like Tori, his wife, was in law school, like, and then he got fired. So that sucked. And that's when he's like, okay, I got to figure something else out. Dan's always just kind of
Right.
beat it to his own drum. Like that's just who he is, as a person, and doesn't like to be controlled, all that jazz. But, yeah, I mean, Ipe joined like as a student, and I think it just kind of like evolved into just how we are as people too. It's very like the community is pretty awesome. Like I've met so many amazing people throughout the years through this, and we're all kind of in
Hmm.
it together. And Ipe just kind of created this blog, and then it just kind of again, organically started like happening, you know, in a way. And that's where like the partnership, you know, with those two specifically kind of came in to play.
Got
Yeah.
gotcha.
And
Now,
Ipe is just
I
great.
thought,
I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the technical side of the business, to be honest.
mhm,
Like just uber smart and like has figured out a lot of things. That's grown from the skills, even from learning from Dan, you know, like,
right.
and I think like that's part of the reason too, like why this course has been around for over 10 years, you know, like that's a long time in the course world of things.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, you know, consistently, right? Not just like, you know, reinventing, it's consistent coaching, mentoring, learning, growing, right? And I mean, that's just kind of how we operate in that sense.
And when you say your one of your competitors is I don't know the name of the company, but the owner's name is Shiv.
Yeah, I know Shiv. Shiv used to like live with Dan. So um we all go way back. We taught Shiv. We taught Shiv. I could name off like 5 other courses that like
Yeah, because it's
stemmed
funny
off.
because when I had originally talked to them,
Mhm.
but I didn't move forward.
Yeah,
And the person I was on the phone with, her name was Sarah. She was a school teacher as well.
interesting. Yeah,
And
wasn't me, but
yeah, and it was just like, hey, now this person's name is Sarah. She's a school teacher. Um, I
huh,
was
that's
like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I went back to my text messages and things, and I was just like, let me see if these names are similar because there's some funny business going on here, you know?
No,
But
we're all no, and that's very what's the coincidental? Like, yeah, like I don't know who that is at all. But like I think I've known Shiv for a very, 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 very long time. And you know, he definitely I won't like go into the backstory or anything. I don't
right,
really think it's relevant, but like, yeah, I mean, Dan's definitely the OG, you know, when it comes to this stuff and taught a lot of people. And I also think too, like I said, the reality of the model and the business, right? Like, we're gonna teach you all these skills. You're gonna learn, you know, every piece of the pie. It's natural that people are going to take those skills and like I give this, you know, analogy like the present is all the same. It's just different color bows, right? Like everyone's going to take them and like implement it in a little bit of a different way. You know, maybe they
right,
teach,
right, right.
you know, it's at the but at the core of everything, like it's lead gen. This is what it is. It's rank and rent, like, you know, and yeah, I mean, I just think you kind of gravitate and vibe towards the coaching and you know the mentorship and things that you know your gut tells you to, I think, honestly.
Yeah, that's how it is. And due diligence.
Correct, yeah.
I I paid for it. Days went by, a week went by, a week and a half. So I called my bank, got my money back, and I said maybe 4 days after that, I was like, hey, yeah, let's get you going. Sorry about that. And that was just bad business to me.
No, for sure. And listen, again, I won't go like into the other stuff, but I mean, I think that um there's a reason why we've been around for as long as we have, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I'm tracking.
you know, from the community and things, because I've seen a lot of stuff. Like I knew Dan when he was broke, you know, like our lives have obviously changed a ton, you know, throughout those
Hmm.
years. But I do think that it's unfortunate when a lot of money comes around and things, like you do kind of the saying is true. Like you see true colors of people and, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry that happened. It's nothing that, you know, is ever good, like in that situation at all. But I think, you know, from our standpoint, we're a pretty well-oiled machine, you know, too, when it comes to like a mentorship and the coaching and, you know, that kind of side of it, because again, we've done this for a very long time. So,
Hmm.
you know, we've been through the ringer. I know what to expect. I've done it. I know what problems you're gonna run into. You know, and how to combat those. So, you know, that's what I can say, you know, from our end and our standpoint of how we run.
Okay, and I know when I signed up, it asked me for my local city, and it was just one of those things like, we're gonna take peek at your local city and kind of see if there's something in the area that we can kind of push forward to
Yeah, I
versus,
mean, there's where I'm sorry, where you're in, was it New York or
Valdosta, Georgia. It's
oh,
right on
okay.
the Florida Georgia line.
Oh my gosh, I live in Jacksonville.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah.
shit, you're an hour and a half from me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just moved here. That's crazy. I moved here like 9 months ago. So another my backstory. Like I said, I've known Dan for 18 years of my life. I was in Vegas living there prior with them, and we had all lived in
Hmm.
California. Like that's where Shiv lived with Dan and all of us and Ipe and stuff. Um, and we all moved to Vegas, and then my fiance lives in Florida, and we did long distance for like too long years.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well, I guess I gotta move. So here we are.
Yeah.
He owns a business here that's not flexible like mine. So, it worked out. The kids
What does he
love
do?
it.
If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, he owns an event rental company. So like they do like tents and weddings and stuff like that and all the
Really?
yeah. So they're
I
50
I
employees.
I have a buddy in Tampa who is stuck on geodomes, and he's just like, it's gonna make so much money. You got to get in with me. And I'm just like, hey
Geo-
man, yeah, it's like think of like a Eskimo house, it's like a
yeah,
tent
like
but a
I've seen
dome.
yeah,
Right.
I know.
He
Okay.
he is all about that, and he wants me to jump in with him. I was like, look, man, I'd rather throw my money in a Section 8 property so I can get some passive
Yeah.
income going versus taking out a 150K loan, buying some property, financing 4 domes, and then doing all the marketing to get people in it.
Yes.
But in his world, it's as soon as we get him down there, 12, 15,000 a month, and I'm just like, hey man, you just might have to
A
go
lot of
alone with that
headache.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I've learned a ton. Like all I know from the business world is what I've done, right? Like I said, I was a teacher
Hmm.
prior. I probably lived in a little bit of a bubble, like from that side of things. And then
Right.
Jeff, my fiance, he, you know, deals with the traditional business route, and bless his heart, man. I don't want to deal with it. I just don't. There's headaches I would never think of. You have to deal with employees, taxes.
Hmm.
It's just
Hmm.
another realm of stuff where I'm like, I just want to like hang out with my kids and make money and like live life. Like I don't want to deal with anything
There
else.
you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think listen, I think it's amazing. I could probably not do his job. Like I don't want to do his job. Like I don't want to fire
Hmm.
people. I don't want to deal with that kind of thing. I get to wake up and deal with myself, some VAs and call it good. And
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of things that people don't realize that can happen, but to each its own, if they got to have some passion behind it. I do know what he's talking about though, but in Vegas, they have those, especially during winter. It's huge
Hmm.
for like little bars or, whatever the case is. So, I definitely have seen businesses, from that, but
Right.
yeah, a lot of red tape I don't want to deal with. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, for sure.
Wh-
But sorry, I don't know where I
So
was going with all this, but
how much how much the program?
so our program it's 6,000.
Okay.
I don't know how much Shivs is. Shivs, I think it's probably a little cheaper, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I want to say they had a payment plan of like 1,000 and some change. It was like 3,200, 3,400, something
Okay.
like that.
So we have payment options that I could send. We have something, it's kind of like an afterpay. I don't know. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, like Karma. Yep, I'm
but
tracking.
it doesn't it's nice because you actually get it. So it's 6,000 and 5,000 if you pay for it in full. So you actually get it for like the cheaper. You're still paying 5,000 even though you just put a small down payment down, and then they just split
Right.
up payments for the year, but there's no interest, there's no late, like it's just straight up like we cover the financing costs, honestly.
Hmm.
So that is an option, like if it's, more feasible, like from a cash flow perspective. But you get some done for you sites built. So we build some like lead gen sites for you.
Right.
We do one-on-one coaching, you'll get a Zoom link. You always have access to that. We have our group, which is huge, not huge, but like, it's very robust, and like it's very active. Like it's a very, very active community. We do twice a week group calls in there. Are all recorded. There's 10 years of accumulated nuggets, like of
Oh
stuff.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll show it to you. It's cool. I mean, the course itself is, 40 hours probably from start to finish. I look at that more of like it's your textbook, you know what I mean? Like the foundational
Hmm.
skills you're learning. And then this is where I think a lot of the gold is, and you're because like we're in the business of this changes, right? Like it's not like crazy amount of change, but there is new stuff that's happening. You got to stay up to date. We're
Right.
doing,
Of course.
we're finding new ways to implement in our business and everything like that. So yeah, I mean this was ePay last night. We do Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 Eastern time. I was like, wait, it's 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. They're all recorded. So I mean, we go over stuff. It's not just like fluffy cheerleader. Nobody needs that. That's not who we are. Like
Hmm.
should
Hmm.
be able to watch this and like take it and implement it the next day, so that's our goal with those. But like you could go back and if you want to know more about, backlinking, right, you can search in the group. I mean, like here's a live that Ipe and I did back in like 21, right? Like you can rewatch all this amazing stuff, so
Right. Right.
there's always, so much continuing education and everything going on. And then I'll show you too, like you'll get calendar link where you can always be able like to book a call. So if you need help, like, hey, boom, go book a call. Like I think this is something I actually brought to Dan years ago. I just felt we're kind of in and out working, right? Like doing this, and I have 10 minutes to chat with people. That 10 minutes is going to help you so much, especially in the beginning.
Hmm.
Like I said, it's not rocket science, but like it's almost that reassurance in a way. Oh, I'm doing this right. Like it does make a difference of hopping on. So you always have access to that. Um, if you are stuck or you just need to check in or have some questions, we can share screens, right? Like, I mean, it just, again, creates, a solid foundation, I think, that you're building, the business on.
Right. Right. Right.
So, um, yeah, like there's no limit to them. Obviously, like I can't talk to people every day, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Within reason.
correct. And I have to say
No.
that because there's some people that, you give them an inch, they take a mile, but
Yeah.
really do our best to help, in whatever way we can. But,
Hmm.
at the end goal, like we're trying to teach you how to fish, right? Not just catch a fish. Like we really want you to understand the model so that you feel confident to go out and like soar. You know what I mean? Like, cause that's
Right.
all,
Right.
um, I think eventually like you almost don't need us, at a certain point because
Hmm.
get it. So, that's like the support side of things. And then this is the training. So I haven't seen Shivs, but I'm sure I know
I
it.
haven't either.
You what?
I said I haven't either.
So they never even sent you the link or what? Like,
No, I went on the little Zoom. It's like, hey, pay now. I went ahead and paid now. Nothing. I had like three different text messages from them. I responded to each, like, hey, got nothing.
yeah.
I had that one call from Sarah when I did the video call. She never responded. I could see that she was checking the email, but she never responded to me. I sent multiple more messages and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get this refunded from my bank. And
Oh,
like
you
I
know
said, a couple
what?
days later, they responded. I was like, hey man, all right, I'm good. I already had this refunded from my bank. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. So did you talk to
I
Sarah? Like, did you
did.
her like physically?
Yep, we were on a Zoom call just like
Okay,
this.
now I'm curious. So I think I know her. If I could be wrong, but if is she like she have dark hair, curly dark hair?
Yep. White girl, white hair. I know she has a kid. I want to say she said she lived in Washington State. But she said she's a teacher.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, I'm trying to find her last name, but once I refunded my money, I just deleted all the text message and blocked the text.
Yeah,
It was
for
like
sure.
there's no point in dealing with you guys.
No, that's so dumb. Like, and what a like seriously, like even just from like Shiv is like my brother, my other brother. I mean, but he's young. I'm like, dude, you're like 28. Like he's way younger than all of us.
Right.
Which is great. I mean, he's a smart dude, but he just is I think there's maturity levels that go into certain things, and that's not one of them. So
Yeah, yeah. Because once you start doing things like that, one angry person starts blasting you, and then
well,
next person
yeah.
that you, and then before you know it, you got a bad rap.
Yeah.
You're all
And
over
listen, you can't
Reddit.
make everyone happy, but at least like you have to have some like you're not even grateful. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's just so like you're it's just an again, it's unfortunate it's like that because it's like you're just like another number, and we don't
Yeah,
operate that way. And
yeah.
um yeah, that sucks. So I don't know exact. I thought it was a different Sarah that I might have known, but I was like, I don't think she's a teacher. But yeah, I mean, listen, we all lines usually lead back to Dan in some way in this world. And
Yeah, if you were the same person, I would have hung up the phone because I
yeah,
remember exactly what she looked like, and I was just like, "Hold on,
no,
man, Sarah,
no.
teacher."
Oh
But when you
God,
popped up, I
it's
was
not
like,
again.
"No, this is definitely not the same one."
No, no, there is one of me, my fiance likes to say, and that's all the world needs. So, yeah, that is it. But yeah, I mean, I haven't taught in freaking years too. So, I miss it like I feel like I get to like do it, I love teaching like as
Mhm.
a core, but I hated what um the politics and like like I just felt like I'm not able to do teaching anymore. It's so like,
You're
you know,
babysitting.
yeah, and I don't like that. So I
These
was like,
kids are different.
it is very, very, very much so. I see it. That's what I love about Florida too. I mean, the kids go to an amazing school here and it's been night and day different.
Hmm.
Really grateful for that because it's tough. It's a tough world. I don't envy them. Like I don't envy the position that of them growing up right now. Like
Right.
grew up in no cell phone. I mean, you got to be a kid, is a lot more innocent, I feel like. And
Hmm. Hmm.
now they're just exposed to, I mean, as much as you even try to not do it, like we don't live under a rock, like, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it happens. So you just have to like be more present. You have like, I'm so grateful that I am able to do that, especially now because I am very present in their lives, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I know that their relationship and I feel comfortable, like if stuff happens that they're going to tell me. So like,
Right, right.
you know, because I know what I did in high school. So I was like, oh God, we're getting to that.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell my kids. Like, you can think it, you can think you're getting over, you can think you're being slick, but guess what, buddy? I was there before. I know
100%.
the game, and
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
and
I
I'm
know.
very proficient in, IT and technology. So it's like I've
Yeah.
already told you, whatever you put in that phone, I can see. I can see when you did it. I can see what you're typing. So just know dad is on it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I know. And like, that's what I tell him too. I'm like, you're going to make mistakes. That's how you learn in life.
Hmm.
I'll be there to help you the best I can, but you need to just communicate. And I think that that's what a lot of, the parents aren't able to be present as much now, right? I mean, there's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these things. And I think that just leads to the society issues and like, all that jazz because of what's happening. So, my kids always, they don't know any different of me not being here. Like they've never ridden the bus, right? Like they're
Right.
very blessed in those ways, and I'm able to go to their stuff and be present with their friends and all of that. And I think that's
Hmm.
only just going to
That's
help
good.
solidify, when they get into the years I'm not looking forward to. So like, uh, but yeah, I mean, this has allowed me to do that, and I'm, yeah, just super grateful for it
Yeah,
ultimately.
I look forward to it. We all want to be rich, but I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and my wife
Yeah,
is a
I saw
veteran
that.
as well. So, uh, we're both getting disability, I'm making some income from the business, but I don't need 50,000, 60,000 a month. I mean, my eyes, you give me an extra 2,500, 3,000 a month, like I'm sitting on my butt. Like I can stop my job because that's paying my bills plus everything else is coming. I'm good. We're out here in the sticks, 4 dogs, 10
Yeah.
acres. I don't need much,
Yeah.
like I said, that's when I have more time with family, not worried about making phone calls and dealing
Oh,
with, 'cause
for
I deal
sure.
with the federal government. So it's, like I said, it's the backstabbing, the treachery, trying just to get a little piece of the pie. If I can put all that behind me and I'm making, like I said, 2, 3 grand, man, I'm on
Yeah.
top of the world.
Dude, yeah, no, I thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.
But uh I totally get it. And like I told you earlier, like I didn't get into this for the money. Money's never been a big cursor for me. Like, I obviously want to have freedom, which I need
Right,
money,
right.
right? Like, so
Hmm.
like I know that they correlate, but like I don't need a Lambo. I don't need to go to this I mean, I drive my car, it's paid off. I have a Sequoia. Like I don't want anything, like
There you go.
I just don't, you know, I
There
don't
you
need
go.
the fancy, like I'm a deal shopper still. And Dan's the same way, honestly. Like as much as people think success, you spend all this, but like we're pretty tight. Like we run our businesses very lean. Like because I think again, we've seen both sides of things and we also know that money does not make or break you, period. And like it's not the important part of it. The freedom is like I could never go back to work for the pure fact of I don't I've lived this way for so long. I could never be told what to do again. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that
100%.
that
We're the same exact way. Went to the army, got out, worked 10 years overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, working for someone else. And
yeah.
once I came back in 2018, and I haven't had a 9 to 5 or actually working for someone since then. Like I said, it just takes a year to realize, like, you know what, I'm gonna do this on my own. I don't want to work for
Sure.
anyone. I want my time.
Yeah.
Everyone else says, "Oh, it must be nice work from home." Yeah, you're at
Hard.
home, but guess
It's
what?
hard
You
too.
get a paycheck every 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
might go months without a
Yeah.
paycheck.
Yep.
So I was like, it has its up and downs, but I'm working for myself. That means more money in my pocket. Like you said, we like to stay nice and lean.
Mm,
I don't need to be on Instagram. I don't care about no Lambos or no $200,000 watches. Hey,
no.
my car, like I said, cars are paid for. Like we're good.
Yeah.
Kids want a couple of ATVs. Simple kids. Give me a couple of rifles or something. Hey,
Yeah.
everybody's happy.
Sure. Simple. Like, listen, we're all that way, and I think I mean, I lived in Vegas, right? Like I mean, they still obviously Dan and them still live there, but really keep to ourselves, like we'll go out and it's the perks of
Hmm.
like, go see a show if you want, like that kind of stuff's nice. But um we've met a lot of interesting people, being out there and it's crazy. Like we would always say, like, you get lost in the sauce, and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
anxious, it's like, you know,
Hmm.
all that and it's so fleeting and everyone's miserable. Like that's one thing. I'm like, you guys are just unhappy people and like I'm pretty happy like for the most part, like I mean
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not perfect, but like I'm alive, I'm healthy, the kids are healthy, all good. So no, I totally understand where you're coming from. And again, I think you start out with those goals and you build it and you see where the path takes you. Do you know what I mean? Like you just
yeah.
never know opportunities that can come across your lap when you know how to monetize the internet, which is only controlling our lives even more every day. It's gonna benefit you, in that sense.
Hmm.
However big you want to grow it, or you stay, 5 grand a month and peachy keen, right? Like, the opportunity is always there. It's never gonna go away, and
Right, right.
I've done that many times in my business where, you reach a certain level and then we're good for a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, I get the itch again, right? Like, or, that's how it works. And then I go in hustle mode again. Like you just have those
Hmm.
options to innovate and, be creative, get kids involved. I mean, I'm starting to do that too. I want my kids to learn skills, like
Yeah, yeah.
um that are applicable in the real world of like what you
Hmm.
should do and how to make money. And, don't just be reliant on a degree. Like that's the dumbest decision I think people can make. And
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a lot that can happen with it. But yeah,
Or
that's
401k
huh?
or your 401k.
Yeah, you gotta Dan's super he's a wheelhouse with stuff. But yeah, I mean he's very adamant about, he buys gold and all the
There
just
you go. Sounds like a smart man.
yeah, he is. He totally is. I mean, and his dad, and he didn't grow up that way. Like that's the thing. It's not like he was inherited this. I mean, his dad's a pastor, like he
Hmm.
didn't have money. And I mean, he tells the story still, like he wanted a basketball. Forgot what grade he was in. I don't know, middle school or something. And they couldn't afford it. I mean, they couldn't afford a basketball, and
Right. Yeah.
he was like, I am never going to not be able to buy a basketball. Like if I want a basketball, I'm buying a basketball. And it takes a lot of grind, to get to that point, but like um that's your choice, right? And people, get to create their own destiny in that way, and that's what he did. So it's pretty cool to
Nice.
see, throughout that. But anyways,
Looks like I'm ready to get started. If you could send me the links, I'll probably do the monthly pay.
yeah, like
I,
the afterpay thing.
yeah, I have
Yeah,
four properties I'm closing on now, so
for sure.
I'm trying to make something for myself here.
Hey,
Get-
I get it. And listen, we're all about like cash flow, and I understand. And the only like the reason why I do like this is because it doesn't make you pay, like you don't want to be silly about it to where you pay interest where you don't need to, kind of thing. But like,
hmm.
this doesn't, you don't have to with this, as long as,
Yeah,
it's just split up. So,
nice.
all
Okay.
right, give me one sec. Let me send you that. If I can find my freaking tab because I have way too many tabs open. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do, it's gonna send you a link. You'll click on it. If you do it from your phone, it takes like 2 or 3 minutes, but it's just gonna like ask,
Yeah,
basic
the
questions,
questions. Yeah,
all that,
I get
whatever. It does do a soft check. It does not do a hard inquiry, but I think it'll just again ask for like just to
you. Yeah,
verify, who
yeah,
you
that's fine. Hmm.
um okay, so hold on. Let me find the right link. Perfect. And then ultimately, um once like if that's the route you want to go, um you just kind of need to like shoot me a text, or we can stay on
Okay.
this Zoom. I don't care, whatever work. I don't have anywhere to be, so if you want to do it now, like that's totally fine. You just kind of let me know your time frame or how you want to go about it, and then
Yeah, I'm
because
just gonna run it by the old lady. I know she's not gonna have no problem with it,
okay,
but
no, of
yeah,
course.
I'm definitely gonna do it.
Okay. I'm gonna send this to your email. So go on one sec. So basically how it'll work then is you chat with her, of course, you let me know, shoot me a text, and then just say, hey, like, all is good. And then let me know too about the elective, 'cause that's what the company goes through, and you can,
Okay.
pull it up when you see it. You'll run everything through elective, like kind of check out through that. And then as soon as that's done, I can send you your login. So
Oh,
like I said, I'll be around today. I do have like 4 hours of baseball practice
good
at
luck.
for the Twins.
Yeah.
Around, I think I need to leave around like 4:30, like yeah, like 4:30-ish my time. So I'll be away from my computer after that. I'll still have my
Okay.
phone, obviously, but I just won't be able to like send a login or anything till I get home.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, just keep me in the loop with it for sure. And then, like I said, we can hop on a Zoom, get your logins, I'll give you kind of a game plan of how I want you to like start it, and we'll take it from that point.
All right, perfect. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It was good chatting with you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.